Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chris Maloney back with you for another edition of CWN Weekly, episode number 15, coming to you live today, Friday, November the 27th, 2020, almost December, almost the very last month of the year, thank God. And then we get into 2021 and we'll see what happens then. But to everybody out there, happy Black Friday. I know I've done some shopping this week. No way in the world I'm going out today to do shopping, but it's been nice that the online stuff as well as the malls and stuff like that here in London, have extended it through the week of Black Friday and not just the day. But yeah, no way in the world I want to be out in that mess there. Also, happy belated Thanksgiving to anybody in the U.S. From yesterday. I know I've got relatives and friends, family down there, so happy Thanksgiving to them yesterday. So, guys, as we always start out every single week on CWN Weekly, and by the way, if you're listening or watching for the very first time, Chris Maloney here in London, Ontario, Canada. It's kind of different outside right now. It's not necessarily cold, but it's not necessarily warm either. It's been very kind of I don't know what the word is, overcast probably the past couple of days, but it is what it is in the end of the November month there, so to speak. So anyways, guys, anniversaries, birthdays taking place in the next coming week. Today would have been the birthday of the one and only British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, 1962. I'll tell you this, I was a huge fan of him growing up, the British Bulldogs, for sure. And then when he went on his own to become the British Bulldog, specifically around the time of 1992, SummerSlam versus Bret Hart, a huge fan of the British Bulldogs, probably top 5 for me as far as Davey Boy Smith goes. Like I said, his birthday was 1962, would have been today. He unfortunately passed away on May 18th, 2002 at the age of 39 years old due to a heart attack. And again, one of those wrestlers that passed away way too young, but his legacy is cemented. I mean, you see the family still going on with regards to Natalia, obviously his son, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Harry Smith, so to speak. But like I said, Davey Boy Smith was one of the reasons I followed wrestling. That Mania 2 match, and this is dating myself, but that Mania 2 match against the Dream Team there, I love it. Like I said, 1992. Where he defeated Bret the Hitman Hart. Even when he was going against Shawn Michaels, I think in the mid-90s for the title, he was a heel Davey Boy Smith. He had Clarence Mason by his side. He had Jim Cornette by his side. But the fact is, I was a huge fan of him even then. So, rest in peace, Davey Boy Smith. Like I said, his birthday is today, born 1962. Somebody else who I've kind of got ties with, passed away June 26, 2016. His birthday was today as well. And that is Ryan the Big Deal Jimmo. He was born in 1981. When I say I've got ties, it's the 6 degrees of separation, so to speak, because he was born in St. John, New Brunswick. I was also born in St. John, New Brunswick. Ryan Jimmo was a UFC fighter. I believe he competed in the light heavyweight division or the lightweight division. But the fact is, his dad, Paul Jimmo, taught me karate back in high school down there in St. John's. So that's the connection, so to speak. But Ryan, like I said, June 26, 2016, altercation in a parking lot, I believe outside of a bar. It didn't go too well. They ended up running him over with the car, rushed him to the hospital, and he ended up passing away at the age of 34 years old. But Ryan the Big Deal Jimmo was born in this date, 1981. Rest in peace to Ryan there. Also celebrating birthdays. No anniversaries this week. It was kind of weird, but birthdays coming up. The 29th is the one and only Demon Assassin Rosemary. She is turning 37 years old on the 29th, so this coming Sunday, as well as the one and only Captain Charisma Christian. 1973 he was born, but his birthday is on the 30th of November, so he'll be 47 years old. So he's getting up there in age too. And it's interesting to say that because him and Chris Jericho and Edge all look like they can still go in the ring. And it's unfortunate that Christian, really didn't get that send-off he deserved. But 47 years old, and I'm 44. I'm getting up there in age as well, but you'll never see me in a wrestling ring, I'll tell you that much. News of the week. So Survivor Series 2020 took place last Sunday. The Undertaker basically announced his retirement officially inside of the ring. Got a huge send-off. Didn't make a lot of sense the way they did it. They brought all the guys down to the ring, including Kane with gimmick. And the next thing you know, they do the tribute, and all the guys have left the ring. And then basically, Vince McMahon's out there on the mic and then says, there's nobody like the dead man. This isn't goodbye because his legacy is going to live on forever. But the fact is, when it comes down to it, Undertaker has officially decided to hang him up. Basically, final line of the night was, "It's time for the Undertaker, to rest in peace." So basically saying that's it. 30 years to the day, amazingly enough, his career is over. You'll still see him around as far as WWE goes. Obviously the Hall of Fame induction. It's going to be interesting though too, because of COVID, and the fact is nobody from the Hall of Fame for this year got inducted. So they're going to do a double Hall of Fame. What are they going to do with that? So it'll be interesting. But Undertaker is due, whether or not it's 37, 38 as far as WrestleMania goes. But we'll see him back, at least for that appearance there. That's all I'm going to talk about Survivor Series, because guys, CWN Recap took place last Sunday as well. And to those who watched on Facebook, thank you very much. I'm not sure how many live hits I got, but I know I just checked before the show went on the air today, and 248 views on Facebook as far as CWN Recap goes for Survivor Series. So thank you very much to anybody who watched that on Facebook. Hits as well on YouTube as well as audio. So thank you very much, guys, for the support there. Announced as well last Sunday, WWE Icons docuseries coming to WWE Network in 2021. So I'm just going to bring that up quickly here. So, new series from WWE docuseries is coming to WWE Network 2021. After the conclusion of Survivor Series pay-per-view, trailer aired for new WWE Network series called WWE Icons. It's a biological docuseries focused on WWE legends. Trailer for the series revealed that there are WWE Icons episodes focused on Yokozuna, Lex Luger, RVD, the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, as well as Beth Phoenix. So no dates officially have been announced, but those are in the works. We've also got basically a Keith Lee documentary coming up on the WWE Network. So guys, look for that if you get a chance, as well as what else is going to? That news that I just read comes from Wrestling Observer Figure 4 Online. And the reason I want to mention that is because today is Black Friday. So anybody who has been wondering or wanting to subscribe to basically the #1 wrestling website in the world, in my opinion, of course, they are having a $3.99 sale on today. That's US. I think it comes down to about $5.50 Canadian. But you can sign up for the website for a free month. You get all their podcasts, all their shows, all their back audio, the newsletters, all the news reports. You get to be part of the forum as well, which a lot of news travels back and forth in there. But guys, if there was not a better time to sign up for F4W online, today is the day. And usually their sales only last about 24 hours. Like I said, $3.99, it's about $5.50 Canadian. So head on over to f4wonline.com and sign up. Like I said, it's only $3.99 US, so take advantage of that there. From there, guys, report Taylor Wilde returning to Impact Wrestling. I thought watching Impact this week, and I'm not a big fan of spoilers. Like, I will read them, but I'm not a huge fan because of the fact that I like to be entertained as a wrestling fan, so to speak, even though I'm doing shows like this. But report Taylor Wilde returned into Impact Wrestling. In saying that, I thought that Taylor Wilde might have been Jordan Grace's partner there, showing up on Impact, but she wasn't. So it looks like maybe the next series of tapings, Taylor Wilde's going to be part of that. She is an icon as far as Canadian independent wrestling goes. She's an icon as far as Impact Wrestling goes. I've got to see her, Chantel Taylor, here with regards to this company that used to exist called Blood, Sweat, and Tears, so BSC. Got to see her farewell match, so to speak. I think it was the last time I saw her live, and that was in, I think, Mississauga, before she ended up going to Impact Wrestling or OVW, one of the two. But anyways, yeah, she's a phenomenal wrestler. She's got her own podcast right now as well. But it'll be interesting to see Taylor Wilde back in Impact Wrestling, so I'm excited about that one there. Something else I'm excited about is a little bit of a gamer in me is the fact is I love getting new wrestling games every single year, and my wife will attest to that. But the second wave of new superstars and legends arrive in WWE 2K Battlegrounds. So not your typical wrestling series as far as 2K, 20, 21, 22. Everybody knows the story about that. But the fact is they have announced they've got a second wave of legends and superstars coming up. including the American Badass, the Undertaker. If you go, I think the code is still good, but if you go and if you own Battlegrounds, go into the locker room. It's all uppercase, by the way, Undertaker 30. You can unlock the American Badass, the Undertaker there. So any gamers out there. Macho Man Randy Savage is part of it as well. The Boogeyman, Laheem Lillard, no idea who that guy is. Gronkster, Rob Gronkowski, obviously is a Pats fan. I know who the heck he is. He's got his different attires with him. I think there's 3 different attires for him. Billy Kay, Kane, Andrade, Buddy Murphy, Peyton Royce, and then Edge. And Edge, I got lucky because I went to EB Games to get the game, and it was the last pre-order game that they had, but it wasn't pre-order. It was just on the shelf. So I'm going to get the Edge code for free. So that was kind of cool. But if you're a gamer, I know American Badass as well as the Macho Man are there now, but all of these guys will be released by the 16th of December. And then hopefully there's another a shot as far as Christmas goes, as far as being released, as far as the characters, so to speak, go. Sorry, I try to multitask here. From there, G4 signed Xavier Woods. That is kind of cool to me, simply because of the fact I am a little bit of a geek as far as tech goes as well. So they used to have this channel in Canada called G4 Tech TV, and on it they used to have the show called The Attack of the Show, and it was a guy named Kevin Pereira, as well as a female called, named Olivia Munn. A lot of people know Olivia Munn from acting and everything else, but that's kind of where she got her start there. So they had this little bit of a reunion, I think it was last weekend. And then Xavier Woods, being the gamer that he is, especially when it comes down to him and his up, up, down, down, they've signed him on. So G4 has signed him on for his knowledge and insight and this and that there. So it's kind of cool. And you get to see Olivia Munn and Kevin Pereira basically reunite. And it was kind of, kind of cool, as the tech geek in me, so to speak, to see that. So that was kind of neat. From there, NWA Shockwave premieres next week. So that is a matter of days, guys. So NWA, who's been sitting in the back, and we as wrestling fans have been watching all their talent kind of get scooped up. Everybody from Ricky Starks to James Storm is back in Impact Wrestling, to Thunder Rosa, to Serena Deeb. Shockwave's premiering next week. It'll be 6 o'clock, I think, on Tuesdays, if I'm correct. And that makes sense because it used to be right before AEW Dark. But they're premiering next week. Joe Galley came on. It was only about a minute promo video as far as YouTube goes, but he stated that basically you're going to be seeing a mix of UWN, so United Wrestling Network, mixed in with the NWA. So you might be seeing matches that took place on their pay-per-views, the weekly pay-per-view series, taking place on their NWA Shockwave show. But then I think you'll as well see exclusive matches taped as far as NWO Shockwave goes. So look for that Tuesday at 6 p.m. And we get some comments coming in here. So I'm just going to read those quickly, or check them out quickly, and then maybe put them on air here. What do we got here? Sean Bates, hard at work on a Friday afternoon once again. He goes, she can put out a fire too. She's been working as a firefighter since leaving wrestling. That, by the way, is with regards to Taylor Wilde, Chantel Taylor. He goes, oh boy, Gronk, piss off Raiders fan. I'll say that. I bet he did proper negotiation to do third-party deal with G4, unlike others doing Cameo and Twitch. That's a shot at WWE, but it's 100% accurate there. And then he goes, who'll be available for the NWA? Not many left. And yeah, he's right about that. It's interesting to see, like I said, the NWA is kind of in pieces now since COVID's taken place. And, Billy Corgan has, basically been nice enough to say, hey, go work shows. MLW had done the same thing with Brian Pillman Jr. as well as Harry Smith, David Boy Smith Jr. But now they're back in. So it'll be interesting to see what the NWA does as far as talent that used to work for them goes. Chris Jericho unveils Painmaker apparel collection. That was announced on the 25th. And I'll tell you this, I'm going to bring up the article, but there's a reason I'm bringing this up as well, because it got me thinking about something. So updated on the 25th, Jericho, one of the most popular performers in the history of wrestling and the inaugural AEW World Champion, will unveil his Painmaker apparel collection in conjunction with Champion Apparel during tonight's live AEW Dynamite show on TNT. So that was back on Wednesday. And then if you go to, I guess it looks like the store, the official address is www.painmaker.store. Didn't know .store was an extension. Guys, check that out there. The reason I bring this up is this. So, it's Jericho merch is cool, obviously. But the fact is, when I think about it, you've got a major match coming up this coming Wednesday. And that is Moxley defending the World Championship against Kenny Omega. Okay, so Omega, we know, is North American bound, has no ties right now to New Japan Pro Wrestling as far as reports go. Moxley still does. He is the current IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion of the world. So that's Moxley, okay? So my prediction is this. I see Moxley leaving to go back to New Japan to do the, like I said, the whole, G1 climax, not the climax, but the Wrestle Kingdom, as well as Wrestle Dash over there. But as well, there's one more guy that I think is going to tag along with him. I think that's Chris Jericho. So they've been talking a little bit about the Inner Circle and MJF and Wardlow and when this is going to all come to a head. And obviously, they've been doing stuff together. You saw that skit where they invaded Vegas. Every single piece you see when they're doing interviews is Wardlow, staring down Jake Hager like they're basically just want to kill each other. I think it's all one big setup, though. And Jericho, Hager win the tag team match this past Wednesday. Thanks to Sammy, I almost said Sammy Guevara, but thanks to MJF. From there, what happens is basically, they look like they're doing well as a unit as far as the new Inner Circle goes. Jericho has a match coming up this coming Wednesday against, I think is it Scorpio Sky or Kaz, one of the two. Just going to see quickly here. I think I've got it listed here. Jericho's listed to take on Kaz. I don't know if that's right, though. I think it might be Scorpio. But either way, he's fighting again, okay? They got the Diamond Battle Royal, so to speak, taking place. I'll get more into it as the show goes on, but the fact is, I think everything's just going to be too great. It's going to be too perfect. And the next thing you know, you're going to see a huge beatdown being laid to Jericho by the Inner Circle, specifically one Jake Hager. And then Wardlow basically... and Hager, I can see them being a tag team. I can see Wardlow maybe becoming a face at that point. But the fact is, I think Wardlow is going to have a mainstay with regards to this. I think Hager might become MJF's new, basically, bodyguard. So, here's my prediction here. I'm going to say Moxley loses on Wednesday. I'm going to say Jericho gets beat down by Hager. I'm going to say Wardlow gets kicked out of the Inner Circle and MJF takes over with the guys that are in there. The Sammy Guevara thing will be interesting to see where they go with that. But in saying that, Jericho, I think, is going to have the chance to head over to Japan and fight over there with regards to Wrestle Kingdom. So I see Jericho and Moxley doing that. So, and the beatdown will play into effect. The fact is they beat him down too much, that he's on the sidelines for a bit, he's injured, whatever the case may be, and it'll explain his absence all the way through till 2021. So just wanted to bring that up there. But yeah, check out Jericho's Painmaker apparel there. Anything he does is kind of cool as far as marketing and merchandise goes and this and that. AA, that's tough to say. AAA Triple Mania. Looks like 28 scheduled for December the 12th. Not a huge Mexico wrestling fan, but I catch it when I can. But this came from Post Wrestling here. AAA has officially announced the date for the biggest show of the year in Triple Mania. The event is scheduled to take place on December 12th. Additional information concerning the event is to be revealed on November 30th via a presser on Facebook. So that was announced on Twitter there. Big day as far as November the 12th goes, because upcoming as well, you've got Impact Wrestling Final Resolution 2020. You've also got UFC 256. And then the night before, or so the morning before, you've got one championship, which is mixed martial arts, of course, Big Bang 2 taking place. So a lot of action taking place in about 2 weeks. So that'll be interesting there. From there, guys, we go into Impact Wrestling's Bob Ryder passes away. And this was sad, and it's... we lose another one, right? And so the news I saw first was reported by F4W Online. I'll just read you what they wrote. This was reported again on the 25th by Dave Meltzer. Bob Ryder, who was one of the founders of TNA Wrestling and still worked for Impact Wrestling more than 18 years later, was found dead today by police at his home in Nashville. Ryder, who has battled cancer for years, has not attended a live show in a long time due to intense chemotherapy. Ryder suffered a fall yesterday, wasn't able to get up, but apparently texted people that he was okay. But after that, no phone calls or text messages to him were answered. The company said someone who knew him to his home and knocked on the door and got no response. They then called police and found that he had passed away. Ryder was a pioneer of websites with OneWrestling.com in the 90s, did web radio, and worked for WCW, where he was close with Eric Bischoff. After the folding of the company in 2001, Ryder and Jeff Jarrett, who were not hired by WWF, convinced Jerry Jarrett to start TNA Wrestling with the idea of it being a pay-per-view exclusive promotion. And they had gone and done weekly pay-per-views at that point. So I'm going to follow it up with this here. So ImpactWrestling.com released a statement as well. So Ed Nordholm, Scott D'Amore on the passing of Bob Ryder. Everybody at Impact Wrestling is heartbroken by the passing of Bob Ryder, one of its founders, and in many ways the heart and soul of the promotion. As many fans know, the very idea to create this company was born on Bob's fishing boat during a trip off the Gulf Coast in 2001. It's no exaggeration to state Impact Wrestling would never have existed without Bob's inspiration. It would not have gone on to entertain millions of fans over 2 decades. With his passion and dedication behind the curtain. This is anyone who remembers Bob on the 1990s Prodigy chats, or his role with launching OneWrestling.com, or him co-hosting WCW Live, knows few people love pro wrestling with the passion Bob did. And the article continues there. So rest in peace to Bob Ryder. I've known his name, and way back in the day, I was a huge fan of OneWrestling.com. And then I remember, I think it was Mike Johnson and Dave Shearer left OneWrestling.com to do PWInsider.com, and that left Bill Apter as well as Bob Ryder over there at One Wrestling. Apter has put out a video about 1.5 minutes in length on YouTube just to send condolences, but he said he wasn't going to do any kind of tribute. He's going to let a couple days go by. He said he's completely devastated. I mean, it's tough because any of the tributes that come out to Bob Ryder, it was always like, thank you for giving me that shot. Thank you for giving me that break. Without you, I wouldn't have a wrestling career right now. I guess he was always the go-to guy to make sure things were working properly. If a guy missed his flight, they'd call Bob Ryder, get in touch with Bob Ryder. He'd make everything great. But he was, like Don Callis said, Nordholm had said, the heart and soul of TNA Wrestling. I've been a huge fan of TNA Wrestling since their existence. Way back to the Asylum days, and the weekly pay-per-views I used to catch, because as soon as you got the names of Samoa Joe and AJ Styles and Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels and Chris Sabin, it was something that it was on the internet, and it was kind of like, man, what is this? I got to see this. And all of a sudden I became a fan in the Spike TV and so forth. And still to this day, a huge fan of Impact Wrestling, but rest in peace to Bob Ryder. I believe he was 64 or 65. But he's been dealing with cancer for a while there. So, unfortunately, like I said, another one we lose here in the wrestling business. And, it's thoughts and prayers and strength with him and his family, his friends, as well as coworkers and wrestling fans of his. So rest in peace to Bob Ryder there. From there, we go into yesterday, where it was kind of interesting that there was a rock float above the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. And when you go and look at the picture, it's that infamous rock, I'm not say symbol, but that image of him with the fanny pack and the curly hair and just him trying to look cool, and I think his early 20s or whatever the case may be. But The Rock had commented on it and kind of poked fun at himself. But it was, they had the big old rock, thing at the Macy's Day Parade dressed with the fanny pack, and so it was kind of a cool image to see. From there, Kenny Omega releases his own supplement line, and if I ever want to try to get back in shape, I might actually try it out. But he goes yesterday on Twitter, well, today's the day I've officially launched my own supplement line with Redcon 1. The flavor V-Trigger tastes a lot like Lemonhead, so if you're into that, this is up your alley. In other news, happy Thanksgiving, he says. I'm not a big fan of lemon, but I'd be willing to give it a shot just to see how good or bad it actually is. So, Kenny Omega with his own line of, like I said, protein, the V-Trigger bundle, as he calls it. So check that out, redcon1.com, and you find Kenny Omega stuff on there. From there, guys, what else we got? Not a lot of wrestling news this week, which I was surprised of. I mean, there is stuff going on, but it wasn't big for wrestling besides Bob Ryder passing away. Cool thing I saw yesterday was this, and I actually listened to the whole interview. about 55 plus minutes in length, I believe it was. But how Pro Wrestling Tees became a multi-million-dollar merch company with owner Ryan Barkan. And that was Chris Van Vliet, Canada's own Chris Van Vliet, on Apple Podcasts as well as YouTube. So you can check that out. Like I said, it's about a 55-minute long interview, but he goes into the whole history of Pro Wrestling Tees. Going to the bank, asking for $10,000 loan, getting that loan, having a lot of kind of hit and misses as far as the company goes in the early days. I think he said at one point he actually overspent. He had wanted to get a big banner, and instead of one, he ended up getting 11. So it cost him about $20,000 extra back in the early days that he didn't necessarily need. But the fact is, it's kind of cool because you hear about his passion, Ryan Barkan's passion for it. He's only done 2 interviews apparently, and one of them was with obviously Chris Van Vliet, which I said, but the other one was with Chris Jericho. But if you want to hear about this ground up story and the problems that he had to go through to make it a multi-million-dollar company, it's absolutely a cool interview. And I'm not doing it justice by trying to sell it or nothing like that. But the fact is, Pro Wrestling Tees, how big it is right now. And the fact is, with regards to him, congrats, because he went through some falls and some mistakes, and he came up with his head above water. And from the sounds of it, he does the kind of the 9-to-5 job, but he's always available as far as his cell phone and texting and everything else goes. So he's involved with the business as much as he still can be. And that's absolutely amazing. And I was thinking to myself, if I was making money, it'd probably be the exact same way. But he's got 4 kids, 4 young kids at that. And he still, thanks to Colt Cabana, has this this huge multi-million-dollar company, thanks to the fact he's listened to the right advice. From there, last little bit of wrestling news here. Duane Gill suffers a heart attack. Haven't heard this reported on major sites until today, and then it was Post Wrestling that put this out. So Duane Gill, known in the sport of pro wrestling as Gilbert, suffered a heart attack recently. James Ellsworth, who worked closely with Duane over the past several years, took to social media and shared the news of Duane's heart attack on behalf of Duane's family. Ellsworth stated that Gill is in the ICU and is said to be recovering well. Gilbert is 59 years old, and he last wrestled in February of this year for an Arizona independent wrestling company. I had no idea he was 59 years old. That's insane. So the fact is, when it comes down to it, it's take care of yourself. And 59 years old is still, it's tough to hear about somebody 59 years old having a heart attack. I mean, that's 15 years away from me. So anyways, get well to Gilbert, Duane Gill there, and thoughts and prayers and strength are with you as well. So from there, guys, highlights of the week for wrestling. Raw, New Day defeats the Hurt Business. Riddle defeats Sheamus to advance to a triple threat match next week. Asuka and Lana defeats Jackson Baszler. Look for Asuka and Lana. Probably, I would say, at Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, WWE TLC, to basically win the tag team championships. That's a prediction right there. Keith Lee defeats Lashley. That was by DQ, but he advances to the triple threat match next week as well. Alexa Bliss defeats Nikki Cross. She is playing the character tremendously well as far as Alexa Bliss goes, so I'm loving that there. And then AJ Styles defeats Randy Orton to advance as well. So what had happened was this. They have the Raw Survivor Series team in the ring at the beginning of the show with Adam Pearce, and he's basically, congratulating these guys and say they clean swept and everything else. When it comes down to it, all of a sudden he starts talking about the World Championship picture and Drew McIntyre, and all of a sudden they start butting heads. Well, in saying that, Braun Strowman takes offense. I almost said Cole, but Pearce made a comment. Strowman took exception to it, headbutted Adam Pearce, and basically that's what happened there. So they go backstage, and Charlie Caruso is trying to get an interview with Adam Pearce. He keeps getting interrupted. So end of the story is this. Adam Pearce says, we're going to have 3 matches tonight. The winners of those matches are going to take place in a triple threat next week. And then the triple threat match, whoever wins that is going to go on to face Drew McIntyre, obviously at WWE TLC. In saying that, then a news report comes out on WWE.com. And when I say news, I mean quote unquote news. Braun Strowman being suspended indefinitely. So, but he apparently, I think, commented on Twitter or Instagram, one of the two, and he said this is not right. He goes, people are going to get basically smashed because of what's going on. So Braun Strowman, I think, is rumored to be in that match with McIntyre. I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but that is the rumor right now. It's Strowman versus Drew McIntyre at WWE TLC, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with the triple threat next week. AEW Dark highlights: Uno and Grayson defeats Janela and Kiss in the Chaos Project in the triple threat match, so check that out. Impact highlights this week: Hogan and Steels defeats the Sea Stars. That was Vox and EXO. I think it's EXO. Grace and Jazz promo, which was interesting because, like I said, I thought it was going to be Chantel Taylor, Taylor Wilde, but nope, it was Jazz. So Jazz has announced that she's back. She's going to tag team with Jordan Grace in the tag team tournament there. So I love Jazz. She's one of the hardcore. She used to scare me back in the day as far as WWE goes, because you have somebody like Trish Stratus get in the ring with a Jazz, and I'm like, oh my God, she's going to get killed. And that's Trish Stratus I meant. But like I said, it'll be interesting to see what Jazz does as far as Impact Wrestling goes. Suicide, in quotes, defeats Rohit Raju in a non-title match. And then Rohit rips the mask on, expecting him to be TJP, but it ends up being Crazy Steve instead. So Crazy Steve gets a Impact Wrestling X Division Championship match next week. Sue Young promo, which was kind of cool. So they're taking advantage of the fact that they don't have a crowd right now. So obviously, they're doing kind of they'll record and then stop and do something else. So, but it looked like Susie and Sue Young were right beside each other at one point. But obviously, Susie's back was to the camera, so you couldn't see the face. But the way they had done it, and, you lose your sense of reality, and it was a good thing to see. The phenomenal one. I can't say this without laughing. We nominal one, AJ Swoggle defeats Ethan Page. Swoggle's been all over the place lately. You've got the stuff going on with regards to why am I forgetting it there? The Good Brothers and the event that they were doing. But anyways, then all of a sudden you had AEW and had the Inner Circle in Vegas. And Swoggle sitting there on the floor, crying in a baby diaper. And the next thing you know, he's coming out and he's acting as AJ Styles, and they call him the We Nominal One. So it was he's having a good run right now before the end of 2020. Before the end of 2020 there. And then Lawrence D. Larry D, guilty of shooting Johnny Bravo. Rosemary basically said she was never in love with the guy. She just wanted his blood. And then all of a sudden, Judge Devon puts him up to a lie detector test. And I sprayed him with a mist or something like that. It might have been him or Dreamer, I forget. And then Lawrence D, his alter ego, basically said he was guilty, and then that's the end of that. So no more Wrestler's Court or Who Shot Johnny Bravo at this point. And then Rich Swann defeats Ken Shamrock in the main event. From there, ROH highlights: EC3 defeats Jay Briscoe by DQ. Matt Taven defeats Bateman. At the end of the match, we see Vincent come out, and then all of a sudden the lights go out. We hear some music, and Mike Bennett is officially back with ROH. So it'll be interesting to see what they do over there. AEW highlights: Jericho and Hager defeats SCU. That was Daniels and Kaz. Omega and Moxley contract. Omega looked weak, but it's great going into next Wednesday. So Omega, I'm loving his entrance, by the way. Like, I never thought I'd love his entrance more in AEW than New Japan Pro Wrestling, but all of a sudden they have that the two cleaning girls going on, and you see the silhouette of Omega. Well, it was funny because you saw the silhouette of Omega, and then you see Moxley come up from behind him, and it's like, oh, here we go, battle. And then Moxley basically destroyed Omega. It basically, got on the mic and said, hey, your time has come, and basically signed the contract. So Moxley Omega is official, and like I said, Omega is going to win the championship. We're going to see Moxley back over in New Japan through mid-January. We'll see him return to AEW probably. Butcher and Blade look strong in the main event, defeating Pac and Phoenix. Archer attacks the family post-match, so we'll have to wait and see where that goes there. I guess with Moxley not being around, it'd be interesting with Eddie Kingston what they do with him, but it looks like they might be setting up him and Archer. MLW highlights: Richard Holiday defeats TJP in the Opera Cup. Filthy Tom Lawler defeats Rocky Romero in the Opera Cup, and I think announced for next week, I think it's Davey Boy Smith Jr. Taking on Low-Key. So I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. NXT highlights: Candice LeRae defeats Ember Moon. We had a Toni Storm heel turn, which I can't wait to see this, because Toni Storm, to me, is so underrated and so underutilized as far as WB goes. It'd be interesting to see if COVID wasn't taking place, where it should be. but I think a heel Tony Storm is money, in my opinion. Kushida defeats Thatcher. You know my opinion on Kushida if you listened to the show before. I'm a huge New Japan Pro Wrestling fan, but the fact is it's Kushida's time to get the North American Championship or the NXT Championship. I'd love to see Kushida taking on Killer Cross, Karrion Kross as they call him now. That'd be absolutely phenomenal. The KO show. So Kevin Owens was doing commentary. He ends up doing the KO show. He's got Ruff, Gargano, and Priest. And it was comical because KO, he's doing the interview with Leon Ruff. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's like, Ruff mentions Gargano's name, and Owens just starts shaking his head. You can't do that. He goes, the moment you mention the name, they're going to come out. And then all of a sudden, Owens is doing a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and then boom, it's like he's like 2 seconds off, and then Gargano comes out. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, Priest's name is mentioned, and then Owens just starts shaking his head again. He goes, you know what? He goes, and the same thing sort of happens. So, Priest music hits, and then, Owens is sitting there and just having a field day with this. And I'm loving it. It's just comedy at its best with Kevin Owens. And then next thing you know, he starts going and he says something like, hey, what happens if there was a guy, an authority figure like Teddy Long, who can sit there and make a match happen? And then next thing you know, boom, William Regal's music hits, comes out and makes the match for NXT TakeOver War Games. And at the end of the promo, he holds the mic back up and he says player. And then I laughed. It was a good little promo skit by Kevin Owens there. But man, he's so underrated as well. And then what am I missing? From there, Ripley got beat down. So Rhea Ripley got beat down. Io Shirai looked bad as well. So she had been carried out from the back. Grizzled Young Vets beat down on Everrise. So they are back in NXT, not NXT UK anymore. And then Pete Dunne defeats Kyle O'Reilly in the main event in a ladder match to win the advantage at War Games. We did not see Pat McAfee. We did see a dude in a mask. And we're assuming because there's only the two guys, Onu Lorcan as well as Danny Burch up on almost like a tier. We didn't see McAfee though, so you're left to assume that McAfee was under the mask. But it'll be interesting to see if there's anybody else who's added to that picture there. And then NXT UK highlights: Jordan Devlin defeats Amir Jordan. So Jordan Devlin still proclaiming that he is the NXT UK champion. NXT Cruiserweight champion. My apologies, not Walter, but. Obviously, Jordan Devlin. And then A-Kid defeats Trent Seven to win the NXT UK Heritage Cup. So that is that for that. Ratings-wise, Raw, 1,808,000. No Canadian ratings this week. 0.56 in the 18 to 49 demo. And then 5th for the night on cable. Nothing for AEW and NXT as of the time of me going to record. Basically, Thanksgiving for the US. No ratings there. Nothing I saw as far as SmackDown preview for tonight. Nothing I saw as far as 205 live preview for tonight as well. But New Japan Strong taking place tonight. The road to detonation begins. Main event: PJ Black, Fred Rosser, Rocky Romero, and Jeff Cobb taking on Team Filthy, which is Tom Lawler, JR Kratos, Russ Taylor, and Danny Limelight. So that is 10 p.m. tonight on New Japan World for anybody interested in that. AEW Dynamite, I'm mentioning this right now because it won't be on the air by the time the show happens, but I will do a recap of it next week. But AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming 2020, taking place next Wednesday. Main event, obviously, Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Championship against Kenny Omega. We have the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal featuring MJF, Wardlow, Hangman Page, Sammy Guevara, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, Matt Hardy, Matt Sydal, Scorpio Sky, Sean Spears, Orange Cassidy, Kip Sabian, and Miro. And by the way, guys, I just want to mention this. Orange Cassidy has the #1 and the #2 selling t-shirts for Pro Wrestling Tees this year. That was interesting. I think the third is one of Jericho's ones, but Orange Cassidy #1 and #2 this year for Pro Wrestling Tees. That was kind of interesting there. We also got Darby Allin, Cody Rhodes taking on Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. Jericho taking on Frankie Kazarian, and Britt Baker taking on Layla Hirsch. That is all for Winter is Coming next Wednesday on Dynamite on TSN 2 here in Canada. World Tag League, Best of the Super Juniors. I'm going to touch base on quickly here. And I'm just going to bring it up quickly. So where are we? So update number 5. When I say update number 5, it was night 5 of World Tag League. So I'm just going to be the totals here. So we got Tanahashi and Hanare get their first win. So they're at 2 points. Juice and Finlay at 4 points. Goto and Yoshi at 4 points. Ishii and Yano at 6. Takagi and Sanada at 8. Tai Chi and Zack Sabre Jr. at 6. We've got Tama and Tonga, otherwise known as the Gorillas of Destiny, at 6. Evil and Yujiro Takahashi at 6 as well. Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens at 2, and the Great Okan and Jeff Cobb at 6. So looking at that, we've got Takagi and Sonata in the lead at 8, but a lot of teams at 6 as well. So that is the final standings as of right now, anyways, for New Japan, the tag league there. Sorry, I'm just going back to my notes. So that was night 5. We've got night 6 taking place tomorrow morning, and it's you got to love the Eastern Standard Time, but taking place tomorrow morning, 4 a.m. on New Japan World. So if you want to pull an all-nighter, if you want to go to bed early and wake up, like I said, you've got New Japan Pro Wrestling taking place 10 o'clock tonight, and then 4 a.m. tomorrow as well. So if you're looking to find some wrestling on TV early in the morning, or if you haven't gone to bed, that is your best way to do it there. And then you've got Best of the Super Juniors. So it's the interesting thing about this is you got Best of the Super Juniors taking place the exact same time as a World Tag League. So what they're doing is alternating nights, but the climax will come, I think, just December the 11th or 12th. I think it's the 11th, but I'll confirm that for next week because I'll do a bit more of a preview for next week there. But Best of the Super Juniors right now, you've got excuse me, I'm talking too quick again. Taguchi at 4, Master Wada at 8, Sho at 6, Robbie Eagles at 4, Hiromu Takahashi at 8, Bushi at 6, El Desperado at 6. Uemura at 0, Dookie at 0, and then Taiji Ishimori at 8. So strong contenders there. You've got Master Wado, interesting, Takahashi as well as Ishimori, all at 8 points apiece. So that is the standings for right now for the Best of the Super Juniors. And if you're looking for more action as far as they go, you can check that out Sunday, 4:30 in the morning here in Canada on New Japan World as well. And like I said, I'll do a little more hype next week as far as Best of the Super Juniors as the World Tag League goes. But Sean had an interesting comment here that I missed, but I'm just going to bring it up here now. He goes, the mask guy will be Tyler Bate at TakeOver. I'd love to see that. Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne on the same team over here in North America. I'd absolutely love to see that. But then where does Trent Seven fit in? Does he eventually come over as well? He just lost to A-Kid, so it'd be interesting. But Tyler Bate's still young. I mean, I don't even think the guy's 25 years old yet. And he's one of the most phenomenal wrestlers I think I've seen the past couple of years. So, yeah, bring him over. I'd love to see that. That'd be absolutely phenomenal. MMA, guys, not a lot of stuff going on, but there was big news that was announced just today, actually. So UFC 255 took place last Saturday. You can check out results on CWNonline.ca as well as UFC.com. UFC Fight Night taking place tomorrow. And you've got Smith versus Clark. That might sound a little bit odd, but it's taking place at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. Anthony Smith, number 6 ranked, taking on Devin Clark, who's unranked. A light heavyweight belt. Main card at 10 p.m. Prelims at 7 o'clock p.m. on TSN 5. Now, the reason I said that might sound a little bit odd was this. Curtis Blades, who was in the main event originally against Derek Lewis in a heavyweight not championship, but a heavyweight bout. Curtis Blades tests positive for COVID-19. So basically, UFC Vegas 15, also known as the UFC Fight Night, the main event is off. And precaution is, you test positive for COVID before the show goes, the event's off no matter how much it was promoted. So, like I said, main event now is Anthony Smith taking on Devin Clark. So that is it for pro wrestling. That is it for mixed martial arts. And if you're a fan of the show, you know what I'm going to do next. I'm going to get some water into me. Eventually, it's going to be a beer. Maybe I'll do that the Christmas episode. And I'll get to that at the end of the show. But from there, guys, like I said, I'm going to get rid of these banners here, and I'm going to get into Canadian Independent Wrestling next, but that is after the break. So here is a promo by the one and only Sean Bates of CWNonline.ca, but more importantly right now, Scumbags Are Wrestling. So check this out, and if you're looking to spend money, do it here because it's for a good cause as well. So I'll be right back after Sean's message here from the Scumbags Are Wrestling.
Hey wrestling fans, it's Sean from the Scumbags of Wrestling. It might not look like Christmas right now, but it is around the corner, and you won't want to miss out on this amazing deal in support of Sick Kids Hospital on behalf of Steven's Wrestling Journey. Right now, if you contact me at scumbagswrestling@gmail.com, you'll get this amazing t-shirt designed by Nigel Lewis for just $30. And because it's Christmas, I'm going to throw in this stocking stuffer of a poster, 11 by 17, for free. Now you can still get this poster for $15, but you can get the whole combo for $30 right now until December 15th. So contact me at scumbagswrestling@gmail.com and support Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto and Steven's Wrestling Journey.
So, guys, support Sean and the Scumbags of Wrestling for Steven's Wrestling Journey, of course, and take advantage of the sale. The T-shirts are phenomenal. The poster's absolutely phenomenal as well. I'm missing Canadian independent wrestling right now. I tell you that. With COVID taking place, it sucks because that poster I would probably have signed by pretty much everybody right now, just as a keepsake for myself. But like Sean had said, Nigel Lewis did a phenomenal job on that. T-shirt itself is you've seen it hanging up in the back here. I will probably have it on the show next week as well as the poster. Just give guys a closer look at it. But the T-shirt's phenomenal. The artwork's phenomenal. The poster's great as well. So take advantage of the deal. And like Sean had said, all the money raised goes to Steven's Wrestling Journey there. So guys, this is the best part. Well, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to say that the best part of the show sometimes is we are CIW is the hashtag there. So Canadian Independent Wrestling. You check it out, CanadianIndependentWrestling.ca, which right now forwards you to the group on Facebook. The great news is, and I'm excited about this because I said the push for 400 before the end of the year. Well, the push for 400 has turned into 401 as of last night. So 401 members on the Canadian Independent Wrestling group there on Facebook. Thank you very much, guys. Let's push for maybe 500 before the end of the year. Well, who knows? But I was telling my wife yesterday, it's weird. I shouldn't say it's weird, but it's interesting because it comes in spurts. So what will happen is all of a sudden somebody will find the group. They'll, and I'll add them to the group. And the next thing you know, they'll invite like 3 or 4 of their friends. So next thing I know, I'll see the total jump by like 4 or 5 members at a time sometimes, but it's absolutely phenomenal. No, excuse me, but guys, check it out. CanadianIndependentWrestling.ca forwards you to the Facebook group. And like I said, 401 as far as the membership goes right now, it's completely free. Basically, it's just to promote anything that has to do with Canadian independent wrestling. So shows, promotions, your gimmick, your podcast, it doesn't matter as long as it's Canadian independent wrestling based. So a huge fan of the group myself personally, as well as Canadian independent wrestling, as I'm rocking the Midwestern. I screwed it up. Damn. Almost went the whole year without screwing it up, but Midwestern wrestling shirt here. So probably rock the Smash Wrestling hat maybe next week, as we are in the month of December for next week. But anyways, guys, as opposed to going and just rambling here, not anything to do with shows going on right now because of COVID-19. So any shows that had been announced basically have been postponed. Obviously, real life taking place. Wrestling is happening as it can, and I'll get into that momentarily. But NSW, and my apologies to NSW because the fact is I attempted to line up an interview with them, and just due to my own personal scheduling, I wasn't able to make it happen. But I will want to have NSW on the show sometime in the near future here. I was going to try to get them on the show for this week, but just scheduling personal-wise for me, it didn't add up. But NSW History in the Making, taking place 4 p.m. November the 29th. So that is this coming Sunday on iPay-per-view for $13.99. Now, originally, the main event was going to be Alessandro Del Bruno taking on BMD. Unfortunately, BMD cannot attend the show. That came via Bill Chase from Twitter. There was a video that was presented there on Twitter. That came out, I think, yesterday. I haven't seen it yet. I didn't see anything before the show, but replacement to be announced on NSW Overload later today. So it'll be Alessandro Del Bruno defending the championship against somebody else. But like I said, before the show, I didn't see anybody listed there. So, but again, this coming Sunday, if you want to support Canadian independent wrestling, Ontario indie wrestling, so to speak, buy the show $13.99 on iPay-per-view. So check that out this coming Sunday, 4:00 p.m. So more information, you can check out NSW New School Wrestling on Facebook as well as Twitter as well. UCW presents Top of the Class. There is an update about them as well. So this came out on the 20th. Attention UCW fans, due to the new COVID-19 restrictions announced today, we'll be forced to postpone our event scheduled for November 28th. The new date is December 29th. All tickets for November will be honored on the December date. They go on to say, due to the new attendance restrictions, the December show is now sold out. If you have any questions, please email ucwtickets@gmail.com, or there's a number posted as well. We're very sorry about the postponement of this event, but we take the health and safety of our fans, wrestlers, and staff very serious, and we do not want to put anybody at risk. We will look forward to seeing you in December. So that's facebook.com/UCWVIP for more information there. But unfortunately, it's the state of affairs as far as COVID-19 goes. It is what it is. We will get through it, but you've got to be safe and doing things right now. On top of that, Go Hard Pro Ontario Indie Holiday Special taking place for free on YouTube. That is on Christmas Eve. That is being done by Holden Albright, otherwise known as Brendan Caldone, I want to say is his real name. Hope I got that right. But the talent announced so far for that has been Luke Perron, Evan Greenway, Anti-Hero SOS, otherwise known as the hacker Scotty O'Shea, and Vaughn Vertigo. So it should be a great card there. So if you're looking for wrestling on Christmas Eve, it'll be available for free, like I said, on YouTube. North Pro UCW March 1st, 2019 Madness full event is now online. That was posted on the 23rd on YouTube. Vidcast 25 featuring Camille Brickhouse. That was on yesterday, actually. The one and only George Mackay and his Straight Talk Wrestling. So only saw a clip of the interview. I'm going to have to go back and watch it in its entirety. But Camille Brickhouse from obviously NWA Wrestling was his guest. Looked like a good interview there. And then MPW Into the Layer 2, Episode 2, PJC versus Propane was launched yesterday as well. So guys, I'm going to show you this as well because I'm going to get into some screen sharing here. But I'll get rid of these banners here because they always end up in the way. This is why I kind of need to get somebody on the show just to be able to produce so I can talk better. But let's do this if I can figure this out. Let's get rid of that. And now I'm going to go to screen share. So I'm going to go to the YouTube page for CWN. And I'll show you why just momentarily here if you haven't seen this before. Let's do that. Let's go back and check here. There we go, full screen. So guys, this is the YouTube page for CWN. Simply put, youtube.com/CWN online. You don't need to use that user part. It's just simply CWN online. So there you can see we're streaming live episode number 15. You can see there's a section for the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, which we'll all get into within a matter of moments here. But you'll see all the videos posted here as well. From there, CWN Weekly episodes. Every episode I have done, 1 through 15, listed there. The recap episodes here. So any of the show recaps I've done, from Impact Wrestling to NXT to WWE to AEW and so forth. Prediction shows, which always happen right before the recap shows, obviously. Then from there, CWN Online. So anything I've been part of outside of CWN, but I've wanted to do and make note or put mention of it there. So it was a promo that Steven had done with regards to the Scumbags of Wrestling. I've done 4 more episodes of Fantasy Warfare Tournament, which was good. So the greatest heel turn, face turn, greatest not to be ever WWF World Champion, and then toughest in the business was the last one I had done. And then basically Thursday Night Throwdown, you've got all 29 episodes there that I've ever done alongside Sean Bates, Stephen O'Neill, and then Chris Jones back in the day. More guests as well, obviously. And then down here, Fantasy Warfare Tournament. So the original episodes that we had done, you can see here, Stephen, Sean, myself without the beard, which is kind of weird, but everywhere from the greatest world champions to greatest women's champion to the greatest big man to I think we've done OIW, so Ontario Independent Wrestling Tag Teams as well. And then there's a section here for We Are CIW. So basically any videos I find related to Canadian Independent Wrestling are here. So you can see the MPW one I had mentioned, that is Bordertown Pro Wrestling. Scumbags of Wrestling Sean had did yesterday, another MPW video, ECCW, and then so forth. All you got to do is click that there, and I'll take you all the videos that are listed with that hashtag. And then down bottom, you get Canuck Proud. So basically, that's anything that's Canadian wrestling based. So Edge still at 22 million views for his comeback at the Royal Rumble. Hogan getting press slammed by the Warrior at WrestleMania 6. Jericho versus Hogan, and then Roddy Piper in the tribute that he had passed away on Monday Night Raw. There, 7.7 million views. And then this is the best part here, the wrestling theme song. So Jericho at 44 million views for Judas, followed by Glorious at 20 million, and then Undisputed Era, obviously Kyle O'Reilly being Canadian. But it's kind of fun to do this, and it's neat as well because of the fact I can pay tribute, so to speak. I can highlight the stuff that's going on in Canadian independent wrestling, as well as Canada in general there. So guys, the other thing I'm going to bring up right now quickly, and you'll probably be able, you know what? No, I'm gonna do this officially. I'm gonna do it this way here. So I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna go back here. Here I am again. So I'm gonna play 2 videos for you guys, and I'm going to basically do this here if I can find the right spot. Joys of live podcasting. There we go. Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame presented by CWN. I'm gonna get the other banner up here as well. Where are we? There we go. That looks better. So anyways, Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame presented by CWN is here. It's, you know what? I'm going to play the videos first and then I'll talk about it because it's important to me. But now I've got to get rid of these banners again first and then go here. And here we go. So this is the first video we are presenting as far as Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame went. So check this out. So that was the first video with the 4 categories. Now I'm going to go into the second video with the next 4 categories, and then I'll explain everything I've got going on with regards to this. So guys, Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame is taking place officially January 18th, 2021. It's the official 12th anniversary of Canadian Pro Wrestling. 12th anniversary of CWN. So, but in saying that, there are 8 categories announced for the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. They are, as you saw in the first video there, the legend category, the male wrestler category, the female wrestler category, as well as the tag team category. The second video that you saw was the next 4 categories announced, which was the sharpshooter category, the siren category, the MMA category, as well as the honor category. Now, in saying that, basically 8 different categories to be announced live. Like I said, the winners on January the 18th, 2021, live on Facebook, YouTube, as well as Twitch. Final 48 hours in voting almost, so to speak. So we are at almost 4 o'clock. So you've got about 56 hours left to vote. If you head to cpwhof.ca, or you head to Facebook or Twitter with regards to CPWHOF, you can check out voting there. So some of the votes are really, really close. And at 11:59 this coming Sunday, the vote shuts down as far as Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, the class of 2021 goes. And in saying that, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be close. Sean goes and says, vote now. Don't miss out on Canadian wrestling history. Canadian history in the making. I completely agree with that. But guys, is the first time we've done this, is gone back and forth between myself and Sean with regards to whether or not we wanted to try this, whether or not we want to do this. Right now, there's not a Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame that exists online. That's because Slam Wrestling, Greg Oliver had basically moved sites. He says there is one that's still coming. Hence the fact when you look, it's Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame presented by CWN. It's not an official, Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, but it is our Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. So like I said, I've gone back and forth with Sean with regards to going and, what categories we're going to do. Basically how we're going to do it as far as voting goes, what we're going to do to tie into it and everything else. And we've had some good views, some good vote counts, everything else taking place, especially with the independent guys. So the Sharpshooter and the Siren Awards, and then the honor category is kind of cool as well, because the honor category is basically dedicated and tributed to anybody kind of behind the scenes. So the promoters, the backstage, trainers, so to speak, referees, journalists, guys like that, guys kind of like that third man to make a match happen, to get a superstar to be, as popular as they can be, or to help them out along the way. So that is what the honor category is all about. MMA is self-explanatory. Male wrestler, self-explanatory. Female wrestler, self-explanatory. Same with tag team. The legend category is anybody who had a real career exist before 1980. That was the rule that went along there. And there is a ninth category as well. And that ninth category will be dedicated to somebody who has not only helped pro wrestling, but Canadian independent wrestling as well. That will remain a secret until January 18th, 2021, where we announce the category live on the show. Show is scheduled right now for January 18th, 2021 at 7 o'clock p.m., taking place for 2 hours all the way through till about 9 o'clock p.m. Give or take, we might go till 10. We might only go till 8:30. Just depends on how the show goes itself. Once the vote has concluded, then I will touch base with Sean, as well as my wife Christine, who has contributed as well to this, see how we want to do things, when we want to announce the winners, get in touch with the right people, and kind of go from there. But it is interesting. It's Sean's got another comment. I'll read it just momentarily here, but it's our way of respecting those in the business, as Canadians that we've grown up with, as well as those we see as future superstars. So I can't wait for it to happen. But like I said, check it out. cpwhof.ca is the official web address. And guys, check it out, because it's like I said, the last 56 hours of voting to take place there. And I think that is all I think we have for the show. Yeah, that is it. So I'll read Sean's comment here. What's he say? Join Scumbags Are Wrestling on Facebook. It's the drive for 5. So 100 fans all December win a shirt or a poster. That is pretty cool. So Sean's Scumbags Are Wrestling groups. So facebook.com/groups/Scumbags Are Wrestling. So check that out there for Sean. Drive to 500, as he said. It's he's been doing this a while, so it's his baby. CWN will always be my baby itself, but Sean's baby is the Scumbags Are Wrestling. So check that out. Like I said, Scumbags Are Wrestling. So it's facebook.com/groups/Scumbags Are Wrestling, as well as Sean used to have a website, scumbags.ca. I don't know if it still exists, but you can find all the links as well, cwnonline.ca. And Sean is a big part of CWN as well. And you might not see him post on the website itself, but I tell you this, a lot of ideas, a lot of stuff that goes into that website. I get a lot of contributions from him, as well as Christine. So check that out there, cwnonline.ca. As always, guys, feedback at cwnonline.ca. Best way to get in touch with the show. Comments, suggestions, anything you want to see happen as far as the show goes. If you have any ideas for interviews, you have any ideas for stuff to do with the podcast itself goes, stuff you want to see me add or anything like that, let me know. Feedback at cwnonline.ca. Best way to get in touch with me, at Chris Maloney CWN. So that is on Twitter as well as Instagram. And then I think I signed up for a Reddit account as well. So Reddit, you'll be seeing me do as well, just to keep in touch with what's going on in the wrestling business outside of the main websites and this and that goes. But at Chris Maloney CWN on Twitter as well as Instagram there. As far as the shows go for CWN Weekly, as well as the recap and predictions, is this. So we've got CWN Weekly episode number 16 taking place December 4th. So next Friday. That is 3 p.m. live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. I'm enjoying doing the 3 o'clock shows. 7 o'clock shows, I get finished, I do the editing, and the next thing you know, it's like 10 o'clock at night. It's like, oh. But it also gives me a chance to enjoy time with my family as well. I've got my wife as well as my 2.5-year-old, my toddler, who enjoy the fact that I've got nothing going on, Friday nights anymore. So I get to spend time and hang out with them. So CWN Weekly, like I said, episode number 16, December 4th, 3 p.m. And then you can, if you go to CWN Online, so facebook.com/CWN Online. You can see the full schedule till the end of the year as far as CWN goes. I might add a recap show or prediction show in there, depending. But right now, the show has been scheduled all the way through to the end of the year. So you will not see a show on Christmas Day. Friday is Christmas Day. Friday is also, I think, New Year's Eve. You will not see shows taking place then. So the Christmas show, so to speak, will be December 23rd at 3 p.m. And then the New Year's show, so to speak, will be December 30th at 3 p.m. So it'll be the Wednesdays. So give me more of a chance, I guess, to focus on NXT as well as NXT as well as AEW that week. But like I said, it's I'm not going to be doing a show on Christmas Day or New Year's Day, but I will still get the shows out there. And then next week as well, we got CWN Predicts NXT TakeOver War Games 2020 taking place December 6th. There'll be a 3 p.m. show live on Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube. And then CWN Recap NXT TakeOver War Games 2020 December 6th, 10 p.m.-ish. That'll be taking place next weekend as well, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And I'm enjoying the the prediction shows and the recap shows. I got a lot of hits last week, so thank you very much once again, guys. But again, the website, cwnonline.ca. Email feedback@cwnonline.ca. I'm curious about another interesting show this week. Bravo. What is that? I'll give one chance for about 20 seconds here to follow it up with another comment. Another interesting show this week. What is that supposed to mean? I'm just waiting for another comment, but we don't have to wait till next week to find out what he meant by that. Yeah, nothing's coming in. All right, we'll leave it at that. So again, cwnonline.ca, feedback@cwnonline.ca, as well as Chris Maloney, CWN, on Twitter, as well as Instagram. Guys, that is it for this week. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Still trying to get on iHeartRadio. They're taking their sweet time to get on there, but I am on Spotify. We are on SoundCloud. We are on Apple Podcasts and a bunch of the other audio platforms as well. But the main source to hit us up on is YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and then obviously the website, cwnonline.ca. So guys, that is it until next week. Hopefully we get clarification on what Sean's comment meant. But guys, until next week, thank you very much for watching and listening, and take care.